In a small country called Kashia, located far from the ocean, there lived a community known for their insatiable thirst for gold. Despite their small numbers, every member of the community was a well-trained soldier. The villages nearby lived in fear of the Kashians, as most of them had already been captured and raided for their gold and belongings, with the people being enslaved as a result. The Kashians believed that all the gold in the world belonged to them and had been attacking villages for generations with this sole purpose. However, even the Kashians were unaware of the true secret that was kept hidden from them by the royal family. According to Kashian beliefs, the king was considered a god and only the royal family was educated. This was done to keep their secrets concealed from the rest of the world. A person born into the royal family could only be killed by a sword made of gold, which was both a blessing and a curse for the royal family. In order to protect themselves, they had long ago decided to keep this secret hidden. They believed that if any gold was left in the world, it would pose a threat to their family. This was the reason behind their constant attacks and capture of innocent people's gold. Shelin, the king of Kashia, was a skilled warrior and known as the Golden King throughout the world. One day, the queen had a dream that their country would be attacked by people from beyond the ocean, and the king would be killed. The queen shared this dream with Shelin, who was unable to shake off his unease. He decided to lead an army to cross the ocean and eliminate the perceived threat. He called on his army general to assemble an army and, with the help of enslaved villagers, built a massive ship to make the journey. It took 6 months to build the ship and prepare for the voyage, which was uncharted territory for the Kashians. They enlisted the aid of the Galmia, who were experts in trading gold across the ocean, but had since been enslaved by the Kashians to construct the ship. The Kashians were unaware of the vastness of the ocean they set out to cross. After a month of traveling, they finally reached the other side and were awestruck by the natural beauty that lay before them. A dense forest stood in their way, but they had a navigator named Ranjana from the Galmia tribe to guide them through. The Kashians followed Ranjana as they traveled for 3 days through the eerie and silent forest. At night, they would rest, but something was amiss when Ranjana went missing one morning. As they called out for him, only echoes of their voices returned. Shelin sensed something was off, knowing the Galmians were known for their intelligence. Suddenly, arrows rained down from the sky and the Kashians were caught off guard. They were surrounded by Galmia soldiers, easily recognizable by their red hair. Ranjana walked up to Shelin and held a sword to his neck. The Kashians, including Shelin, were taken aback, but Shelin was confident in their battle prowess. Only Shelin understood the situation, as the others were confused. Shelin realized that this was a trap set by Ranjana. Ranjana revealed to the Kashians that the Galmia was a vast kingdom located on the other side of the forest. The Galmia had crossed the ocean for trade but were captured and enslaved by the Kashians, not realizing that they were just a small group of travelers and not the entire Galmia population. So, when the Kashians asked them to build a ship, the Galmia plotted against them and convinced Shelin to accompany Ranjana, who was the most intelligent Galmian from the Kashian country. Ranjana explained that their plan was to kill the king, steal all the gold from the Kashians, and kill all of them. Ranjana stepped back and attempted to strike Shelin's neck with his sword. But the sword broke in front of him and the Galmia were shocked. Shelin laughed aloud and revealed that only a sword made of gold could kill him. All the Galmia soldiers were stunned as they watched Shelin behead Ranjana. The Kashians were also surprised to learn of their king's immortality. The battle between the Kashians and Galmia lasted for 100 days, and in the end, the Kashians emerged victorious, but the only survivor of the long battle was Shelin. Despite being injured all over his body, Shelin managed to walk, but he couldn't find a way out of the forest. After 5 years alone in the forest, he felt remorse for his past actions. The thought of his son and wife brought tears to his eyes. Shelin had been in many battles, but he had never been in this situation. He thought that death was better than this cursed life. Days passed. One day, while he was sleeping under a tree, some boys passed by and invited him to follow them to their village. Shellen was overjoyed to see other people after so many years. When he reached the village, the only thing on his mind was to return to Kashia and free everyone, to live as a good person for the rest of his life. Shellen was in awe as he found himself in a village that was far more advanced and beautiful than anything he had ever seen in his own country. The houses and buildings were grand and the diverse types of trees were breathtaking. As he strolled through the village, he couldn't help but notice that everything was constructed from gold. The amount of gold the Galmia had accumulated was overwhelming, and it was hard for Shellen to fathom. However, soon he realized that he had been lured into a trap. He was surrounded by Galmia soldiers, and the boys who had led him there were no longer in sight. Despite the realization, Shellen found amusement in the failed attempt to deceive him. However, this time he fell for it. He knew that they could not kill him, but the pain of the sword piercing his body was something he had never experienced before. One of the Galmia soldiers, who he recognized from the battle, struck him from behind with a golden sword. The soldier told Shellen that after the battle, they had looted and raided all the gold from Kashia and killed every Kashian, including his son. The gold he saw in the village was taken from Kashia. Shellen was devastated, his mind flickering with images of his beloved family and country. He realized that his thousands of years of life had been wasted and that his death was in the hands of the Galmia. Suddenly, a loud roar startled the Galmia soldiers as they watched the village houses collapse and the gold from the broken buildings fly like arrows, impaling every soldier. Both the Galmias and Shellen were killed in the attack. This was one of the secrets only known to the Kashian royal family, that the king had the ability to control gold once he came in contact with it. Before his death, Shellen took control of the gold that had been looted from his own people and used it as a weapon to defeat the Galmias. Afterwards, the gold fell into the ocean like rain. Shellen had hidden it away so that no one could ever find it again. Even now, people believe that Kashia's gold is somewhere deep within the ocean.